Alright, what is this? How PETA turned an entire country against it overnight. They're doing it to themselves. Honestly, kind of a skill issue. I've been a long-term PETA hater. Yeah, I saw the statistics back in like 2013 when I was a kid doing like research on the internet. And I saw the one where it's like, oh, we euthanize like this many animals compared to like the SPCA, and it's like 5 times the amount of any other average of what is it called, like pet shelters. Yeah, they're horrible.
Typically, when you see someone abuse a pet or animal on the internet, then chances are you'll probably see someone in the comments somewhere saying, call PETA. In fact, one could even argue that this has been a thing on the internet for as long as we can remember. But what is PETA anyway? Well, it stands for People for the Ethical Treatment of Animals.
Yeah, except when we put them down because we can't find them homes, and it's like 5 million times higher than the average shelter. Yeah, I don't adopt from kill shelters to stop them from doing that shit.
What a wonderful name for an organization.
Yeah,
okay, well, what did they find?
And they kidnap animals too. That was another big drama that was surrounding it, but he's probably gonna talk about it.
For animal rights? That's awesome.
The horse is
not
here.
Quite. Here's how they describe their own mission on their website. Animals are not ours to experiment on, eat, wear, use for entertainment, or abuse in any other way. Okay, kind of extremist, right? The idea that no one's allowed to eat animals, that's definitely interesting, but most people can definitely agree with the other parts. But how is it that an organization like this managed to make so many generations of people be aware of its existence? How does it have such a monopoly over the topic of animal rights? Well, it's actually all thanks to their marketing strategy.
This is so fucking weird. Yeah, they build shock into their social strategy. This is a common tactic for like basically rage baiting. They've been rage baiting since like Twitter was even a thing back in like 2010. I remember people talking about it.
You see, ever since PETA was created in the 1980s, they knew that people had bigger worries than wondering where animals came from and how they were processed in factories. So to truly get their message across, their strategy has always been to grab headlines by any means necessary. For decades, PETA would be synonymous with ridiculous marketing campaigns. This right here is one of the most famous examples.
Just a naked broad in a coffin. Oh my god.
A group of naked women laying in coffins in public saying they'd rather be caught dead than wear animal fur. Things like this became an important part of PETA's DNA, and it would help them spread awareness about their cause and their organization to multiple generations. But that's, of course, until Gen Z came along. A generation that kind of grew up understanding what they were, but by the time they became adults, became so desensitized by the internet that nothing really shocked them.
I think even millennials were like getting sick of it. Dude, I remember my brother talking about it. He'd be like, oh, this chick supports PETA, she doesn't even know.
PETA had used the same strategy for decades now, shock and boldness. The problem with the strategy, though, is that over time, for it to remain effective, every campaign you make has to be more shocking than the previous one. And more importantly, the line between bull shock and rage bait is extremely thin. And for years now, PETA
oh my god.
has been absolutely clueless about the fact that they had crossed it a while ago. They had essentially gone from very bold marketing campaigns that no one had ever done before to now posting an AI-generated image of a fish being cut into sushi, calling it artistic rendering.
It's funny that people be like, oh, this is... These same people that would be like, oh, I'm against AI because it uses up a bunch of water that people could use for drinking water, or animals, or like, you know, watering trees and shit. And then they'll use it to generate an AI image talking about how bad it is to eat fish. Holy fuck, you are so retarded. PETA insulted Steve Irwin as well, and they made a lot of people mad. Yeah, they did it just to like be horrible, you know.
Being cut into sushi, calling it artistic rendering, and being community noted. That's just plain embarrassing. For years now, this has been PETA's reality. They're nothing more than just rage baiters, and they fail to see that.
And it's so obvious that it's AI too, because it's like, who the fuck holds their sushi roll like that? And then it's just so badly generated, you can just tell.
Lost the plot. And speaking of losing the plot, it turns out that PETA actually enjoys killing animals more than rescuing them. After numerous investigations spanning across multiple years, many have been able to conclude that PETA enjoys killing animals way more than just putting them up for adoption and finding them a new loving home. Why? Because they believe owning a pet dog is slavery.
I'm pretty sure some, like most dogs, I would hope, got treated better than slaves. Like, this is just kind of a fact. Like, what are we talking about here? What?
I wish I was kidding. Don't believe me? Well, the founder of PETA herself said that pet ownership is an abysmal situation and argued in a 2014...
Does that mean they want to kill slaves? I guess! Yeah! Like, they'd rather kill them than let them be free!
Interview that outdoor cats should just be killed.
I never even thought about it that way. It's horrible.
By now, and we're still in the intro of this video, you're probably wondering, okay, how the hell does this organization even still exist? And how can it possibly get any worse? Well, recently, PETA decided that killing animals is not enough. They decided to openly tarnish the legacy of a dead animal. And the backlash that they experienced was biblical. You see, Silent Suzuka was a Japanese racehorse with an unrivaled legacy. I mean, he was extremely fast and well known globally to anyone who followed horse racing. However, in 1998, his life ended after a tragic injury on the track. What really made Silent Suzuka stand out during that incident, though, is that even though he was in horrendous pain, he didn't flip out, he didn't try to injure his jockey, no. He silently went to the side of the track, dropped off his jockey, and when he was sure that his human rider was safe, proceeded to collapse. Yeah.
Oh, because there's freak accidents where they buck them off and crush the jockey. Bro, we don't deserve animals, man. That is so sweet. Yeah, because they can, like they thrash and they could like crush their owner or whatever. Oh my god. Is that not a testament to the jockey themselves that they actually cared for the animal? Oh my gosh.
He was one hell of a horse.
That's
now, in 2021, the mobile game Musume Pretty Derby would come out in Japan. It would be an anime horse girl racing game, with every one of these anime girls representing a famous Japanese racehorse. This game would prove to be extremely successful in Japan, would release globally in 2025, and would make billions of dollars. And one of the horses that was immortalized as an anime horse girl was none other than Silent Suzuka. In fact, Musume would even have an anime, and Silent Suzuka would make an appearance there too. So as you can see, this was a very well-beloved and very well-respected horse to this day. So what the hell could have PETA possibly done to create a worldwide backlash? Did they pay their respects to this wonderful animal that showed incredible compassion to humans in its final moments? Of course not.
Nope.
They instead would post a disgusting image of the anime horse girl version of Silent Suzuka with a grotesque leg injury where you can see the bone protrude outside of the skin, arguing that if the game was honest, your favorite horse girl wouldn't get any comeback arcs. One failed event and the race is over, just like what happened to the real...
But that happens in the wild too. These people are so retarded. Horses, like from an evolutionary standpoint, horses, if they break their legs in the wild, they die. That it sucks. That's what they're bred for. That's what they're made for. Like, what? That's how evolution works.
Silence Suzuka.
They're a mobile
PETA had been fucking around for years and had faced barely any consequences. This time, though, they fucked around and they found out. Because not only did this post get viewed 16.4 million times, not only are there 11,000 replies completely shitting on their entire existence, not only did this post get community noted, but it even prompted...
This needs to happen more often. When people stay dumb shit, they need to like fucking freak out at them.
A Japanese politician to speak out on this disgusting behavior, as well as the owner of Silence Suzuka. Guys, this was probably one of the worst things PETA could have ever done to their reputation. More and more people are looking into the fact that they're killing more animals than they're saving. With
Good! I've been saying this for years.
Japanese people in particular finding out the true nature of this company rather than thinking that they actually fight for animal rights. And unlike their usual rage bait, this time there were many people that destroyed the hell out of PETA with facts and logic. Actual real arguments that show that Musume Pretty Derby did a million times more than PETA could ever hope to achieve.
Prove them wrong.
It was hilarious seeing this disgusting organization get pummeled to oblivion, and so that's why I thought I had to make a video about this. So you already know the drill. Let's do this. Alright, so look, as I mentioned in the intro, PETA gained prominence, or I should say relevancy, due to its shocking and bold marketing campaigns like this.
If dogs tasted like pork, would you eat them? Yeah, people would. Yeah, people would. What? People have pet chickens and they still eat chicken? I don't understand this logic at all. Yeah. They already do know. No, pork tastes different from dog. I mean, people out there eat dog, man. People do it to survive. Again, that's not, I wouldn't personally, but like, people do.
This one right here. If dogs tasted like pork, would you eat them? What's the difference? Go vegan. Showing the image of a dog with a pig's head. By PETA's own standards, though, this was definitely soft. You see, one of the first instances of extreme...
It's literally the syndrome of like outdoing oneself over the years, and they finally poked such a big hornet's nest that they might actually get shut down for this. I would hope. At least bring awareness to their bullshit.
Shocking yet somewhat bold marketing campaigns was as far back as 1991. Back then, one of America's most infamous serial killers...
Oh my god. No, not the cannibal, man.
Jeffrey Dahmer was captured. Jeffrey was someone who had captured 17 males and, well, got rid of their limbs. He would then place them in the fridge and eat them later. Because guess what? The guy was a cannibal. What would PETA do? Well, they published a newspaper advertisement pretty much likening meat packers to being exactly like Jeffrey Dahmer. Someone who...
Yeah, but that went over really well. Brought in a lot of people into your cause. You're right.
Killed 17 human beings. Now today, if this happened, no one would really care, but back then, people cared a lot. This caused unprecedented commotion, and it was exactly what PETA wanted. From their point of view, their mission is to get animal rights messages out to as many people as possible, which is why they try to make their actions colorful and controversial. Colorful is a very interesting word. All in the hopes of...
insulting people that are actually, like, dead. And likening them to fucking people that eat them. Oh my god.
Grabbing as many headlines around the world and spreading the message of kindness to animals to thousands, sometimes millions of people. They would then gloat that this approach has proved to be amazingly successable. And you know what? To their credit, initially, it was. For the first 2 decades after PETA was established, they would spread awareness over some extremely inhumane...
It's like rage bait, like The Onion. People will go and look it up and be like, oh, well, is this real? And then they find out it's not, and then you made them aware of the situation. But 9 times out of 10, because people are fucking stupid, they don't look it up, and they're like, oh, what? No way! And then they don't fact check themselves, they don't do their own research, and they just blindly believe them.
Conditions that many animals faced in different areas, whether it be factories, farms, or hell, even government agencies. The outrage following these investigations would help new laws be put in place. Laws that would either help animals get treated better or straight up shut down certain labs or agencies that
there's what is it called, like makeups facilities and perfumes that test what is it called, perfumes, makeup, shampoo, soap on beagles in real life, not in video games, but in real life, and they abuse them and shit, and it's horrible, and they get mistreated because they're such a sweet dog. I think that's horrible.
Mistreat them.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with like having a good message, but this is so bad.
PETA would lose the plot entirely. In fact, after my research, I can personally conclude that they had officially lost the plot by 2003. When they would release their newest marketing campaign, an exhibition titled Holocaust on a Plate. And yes, it is as horrible as it sounds.
What?
In fact, here's a sign that you would find at this exhibition. On the left
Are we okay? Are we serious? I mean, I'm sure they got the attention they wanted.
Left, you would see a Holocaust victim that went through famine, and on the right, you would see a cow that went through famine. I don't think it would take a genius to understand that Jews back then were extremely angered by such a marketing campaign, likening the suffering of so many people in World War II to the idea of eating meat. I mean, come on. And at a certain point, this would just get old. People wouldn't take them as seriously anymore. Around almost a decade later, in 2014, PETA would release a marketing campaign in which they say that dog breeders are literally the Austrian painter, releasing a poster of a dog with the infamous, well, mustache.
You can't fucking say and liken things to the Holocaust and fucking Hitler for this, man. That's not even a fucking comparison, bro. Yeah, I am losing brain cells. You cannot be serious. I'm sure the person that came up with this had a massive giggle, bro.
A poster of a dog with the infamous, well, mustache. And if you thought that wasn't bad enough, on the same year, if you went to PETA's website, you'd be greeted with, got autism? Studies have shown a link between cow's milk and... Oh
my god, the magnets made me gay. The magnets made me autistic. Here we go. 2014, autism. By the way, they were ahead of their time.
Yeah, this confused the hell out of people, and it could mean one of two things. The first possibility is them saying that cow's milk causes autism, which is extremely incorrect. There's nothing in any way, shape, or form proving that. And the second possibility is them saying that only autistic people drink cow's milk, which I don't...
I love cow's milk. What? Does that mean I have the tizzies?
Need to sit here and tell you, it sounds really bad. Pretty much saying that there's something very wrong with autistic people, which isn't the case. They're just people. You see what I meant in the intro? Once you make shocking statements, the only way to keep people's attention is to somehow make a shocking statement more shocking every single time.
I'm surprised they didn't say like fucking milk gives you cancer or something. No, I'm genuinely surprised.
But with the line between shocking and rage bait being so thin, yeah, it's no surprise by this
people actually believe this shit, and they take it to the bank and they tell their friends.
Point, people thought PETA was a joke. Their stupid antics were starting to alienate vegans from wanting to support them. That was their target audience. I mean, mid-pandemic in 2020, when people were wrestling with the fact that they had to be isolated for God knows how long, PETA comes out and says, oh, hey, yeah, this happened because of you meat eaters. Tofu never caused the pandemic.
Oh my God.
Now, yes, this stupid attempt at rage bait is definitely so funny. And while I'd love to just sit here and laugh, unfortunately...
Because people were saying that it came from like the wet markets and shit. That's
when it comes to PETA, their existence is actually a problem, especially if you like animals. You see, this organization is nothing more than just a group of extremists. In 2017, 2 PETA employees would kidnap a 9-year-old's chihuahua.
This is when I heard about it. The 2017, this was like a long time ago.
They assumed that it was...
And again, they paid her $49,000, but doesn't bring her fucking dog back. Like, I would actually fucking freak out. You take my dog, like right now, if someone took my dog, put them down, and then they gave me 50 grand, I'd be like, I want your head on a plate. Yeah, I'm not kidding. I want your head on a plate. I don't want your 50 grand. Go fuck yourself. I'd crash out. I don't know. I'd probably do worse. Crashing out is even the least of my problems.
Stray that needed to be euthanized because, of course, they hate the idea of putting up a dog for adoption. However, state laws say that they have to hold the pet for 5 days to make sure there's no owner that, well, will come and claim it. They chose to ignore that rule and euthanize this poor chihuahua within the same day.
This made people so mad.
The family ended up suing the organization, and PETA paid them $49,000 to settle.
And only 49 grand. I mean, not that I'm likening again to the monetary value of a dog. Like, it's infinite because it's a dog and you love that dog, right? You're fucking awful, man. 50 grand. It's kind of like they go, yeah, and stay out. They spat in their face.
But that poor girl is probably traumatized for life. But I wish that was the worst thing they'd done. In 2005, 2 years after their completely tone-deaf Holocaust marketing campaign, some people would start noticing that the dumpsters behind a supermarket in North Carolina was filled with dead animals, specifically cats and dogs.
Yeah,
well,
it turned out
it was none other than PETA. The two employees in question would be acquiring these.
This circulated as like a post every once in a while on Tumblr back in like 2015. Yeah, like Tumblr did do some good at the end of the day. Like stuff like this would circulate, and it would make it would reaffirm my hatred for fucking PETA. It's like one of the very few things that like I've just hated since I was like a kid.
Pets by lying to veterinarians, telling them they're going to put them up for adoption, and then just euthanizing them in the same day in the back of their van. The veterinarian who had given these pets to PETA thinking they would get adopted would later say they were in good health and were very adoptable.
I found bad even giving away one of my cats when I had to move from my apartment to another apartment. They said no animals. I was devastated because like I couldn't keep them and my parents couldn't take them. But I spent like a good like 3 months looking for a good home for them. And I would have hated it if they ended up in a bad home, but it turns out, you know the funny part? I asked them like 3 years later, hey, can you send me a picture of my cats that I gave away? And the person responded, and the cats, but they were 2 kittens. They were both fat, dude. Not like super fat, but like they were fucking happy. I don't know, man. I put in the effort and it was rewarded. Yeah, they were super happy and like just chilling together. They were 2 brother kittens. It was so cute.
Especially the kittens. It was tragic, and yet PETA was able to get away with this because of a stupid law in the US that says that PETA and other shelters are allowed to kill owner-relinquished animals for virtually any reason at any time without any effort to find them homes. But of course, politicians don't care about actual important matters like this. And finally, if you want something a bit more recent to truly show you how disgusting PETA is, then look no further. This was a study published in February.
Yes, I posted the statistic.
February 4th, 2025, examining the rate of death of animals in PETA shelters.
Chat, you think it's gonna be like, oh, it's like 2 times or 3 times. It's not.
In the year of 2024.
Look at the graph,
now,
man.
PETA is established.
Holy shit.
In the state of Virginia. The average rate of euthanasia for all agencies in Virginia is 10%. That means that 90% of their animals find a new home. They successfully get adopted, with 10% being euthanized, which is reasonable. Some cats or dogs they might find on the street might have a very bad disease, they could be on their last legs, and giving them euthanasia is the most humane thing to do, that way they don't squirm in pain for the rest of their lives. PETA, on the other hand, euthanizes 64% of their dogs.
So fucking horrible. Like, the thought of that makes me so fucking mad, dude. Yeah, they compare eating animals to the Holocaust and breeding people, or breeding, you know, whatever they're called, like breeding people, to Hitler. Yeah, maybe you guys are the bad guys, no?
69% of their cats and 67% of all animals in general that are held in their shelters. Think about this for a second. Only 30% somehow find a new home. The majority find themselves dead. Does that seem like an organization that likes animals to you? I mean, look at this. In 2014, they euthanized 96% of their cats. Very interesting.
You have a better survival rate living on the fucking streets, man.
Right? Especially seeing that the founder of PETA has already expressed the fact that stray cats shouldn't exist. Man. In other words, they should all be killed. I mean, I just find this so disgusting, but also so fascinating. PETA always likes to ignore the fact that humans...
And it doesn't even go down either. It just stays the same.
And animals are fundamentally different, which is why we shouldn't eat them. Does that mean we should euthanize 69% of children that are currently in shelters waiting to be adopted by a family? I wonder what this failure of an organization would say. Oh wait, I actually know exactly what they would say. One look at their social media in 2025, and the only thing you'll find...
You just care about clout and, like, perception.
Is rage bait. That's what they still thrive on. They want views, they want relevancy at any cost, no matter how stupid they might look in the public's eyes. And it's that same exact philosophy.
Why is it okay when it's a turkey? because God, they're tasty. These people don't, like, they either rage bait or they don't actually understand how meat is, like, has grown in evolution alongside humans. It's like, it's because it's delicious and it gives you nutrients. Obviously, you're not gonna fucking eat a bald eagle, probably because it's a fucking huge bird with muscle. A turkey doesn't fucking fly around and it's not a predator animal. You're so stupid.
That made them fuck around and find out when it came to one of the most loyal communities on the internet. And it resulted in them wiping the floor with PETA's pathetic ass. This all brings us back to the game Musume Pretty Derby. Available both on PC and mobile, it pretty much took over the world this year. In fact, if you were able to catch the Game Awards recently, then you would have seen that it actually won Best Mobile Game. The same company behind that very successful game that's generated billions of dollars to date is also behind its extremely successful anime series. All the horse girls in the anime and the game.
It's funny, I heard about Musume because fucking PETA talked about it way before it even got popular. I was already kind of like in the loop. I wasn't like a fan or anything, but like when it popped off, I was like, oh, I'm not surprised. Yeah, when they released the mobile game.
Are actually based off their real-life counterparts. This was only possible to do after getting direct approval from each one of their owners. But that's not all, of course. They weren't just able to make an awesome game, some great anime, and respect the medium. Horse racing has been a dying sport for years now, and they were able to revitalize the entire industry by bringing in such a huge amount of young people that are now interested in it thanks to the game and anime. In fact, the developer, Cygames, wouldn't just support horse racing directly by sponsoring multiple events, they would also make it a point to support retired racehorses, making sure that they're not neglected and encouraging fans to donate to them.
They donated so much that like they told them to stop because they don't know where to put the hay and the treats. One of the horses got donuts so much they had to tell him like, hey, we appreciate it, but we don't know where to put your stuff.
In fact, ever since Musume Pretty Derby had come out in Japan and then eventually came out globally, the Retired Horse Association of Japan, who takes care of all retired racehorses, has seen a massive surge in donations. I mean, look at this. They had created a fundraiser back in October to create a memorial for multiple retired horses that have passed away recently, and they were able to raise 6.3 million yen out of their 10 million yen goal. Before Musume, people didn't really care that much about retired horses. Now they do. Isn't that awesome? Now, with all this info in mind, and this is me barely scraping the surface, by the way, how much worse does this post from PETA actually sound now? Going after a developer and a game that has done more for horses than they could ever even conceive. I mean, what a desperate cry for attention. The replies would, of course, immediately point this out, like this one that ratioed the original post by like 5 times, saying Musume does more to the welfare of the horses it honors than misleading and self-serving posts like this do better or be quiet. I mean, not a single one of these 11,000 replies were positive. They were just shitting on PETA's entire existence. The audacity for an organization that euthanizes 70% of its animals to talk about euthanasia is wild. Just so you know, this was a severe leg injury that Silent Suzuka experienced on the racetrack. Once that happens to a horse, they are guaranteed to die a slow and painful death. Euthanasia here was actually unlike...
Yeah, in the wild, they'll just get torn apart by wolves or tigers or what the fuck ever, man. Yeah, what a horrible way to die. I feel like euthanasia's pretty like, oh, you know, it's not that bad. Go to sleep. Don't feel pain anymore, horsey, as opposed to getting torn apart by your jugular by a fucking dog.
PETA shelters humane, but they've lost the plot since 2003. They don't have a brain. Reasoning with them is pointless. But people decided to quote tweet them anyway because why not? They're clowns. They deserve it. This person would say the irony is that Musume itself is responsible for the increase of the Retired Horse Racing Association's donations and care for the animals. Just this year, between Versailles Farm, Northern Farm, and Nice Nature, which are 3 different horses, they raised over $1 million combined, spread purely by the fans' love of the horses. Here we can see a chart of Nice Nature's birthday donation trends, and as you can see, there is a massive uptick in donations after Musume Pretty Derby had come out. I mean, it would go from 1,700,000 yen to 35 million
after
the game had come out. That's a multiplication of almost 30.
Yeah, because you're bringing awareness to something that makes people happy. Anime has power. Yeah, anime girls did that, by the way. PETA denies actual eco-terrorist groups. I don't know, but it would not surprise me in the slightest if they did, because what they're doing is spreading misinformation and being fucking stupid.
5 times, and it kept
and essentially, honestly, the girl getting her dog kidnapped, like, you don't hear about that kind of thing from, like, shelters, like, at all. I don't hear people shit-talking the SPCA.
Rising higher and higher, reaching 74 million in 2024. Bad. But yeah, let's make a disgusting drawing instead, criticizing the game instead of helping. I mean, PETA has no idea just how much Japanese people in general, including the voice actress of Silent Suzuka herself, hold respect for these horses. In an interview, she was literally crying over Silent Suzuka's memory, wondering if she could properly convey the spirit of this legendary horse. Do PETA employees cry when they euthanize 70% of their animals for no reason? That's a rhetorical question. And then, of course, comes the very embarrassing community note that came in different languages. This is the Japanese one. It would say, "This is hate speech." Might be a bit of a rough translation. Anyway, although the game Musume Pretty Derby is in no way opposed to PETA's philosophy of establishing and defending animal rights, this post provokes those involved with the game. Reference about PETA. So that link is meant to show you that PETA's philosophy is to stand against anyone opposed to animal rights. Cool. Then it goes on to say, this post violates the guidelines of Musume Pretty Derby by denigrating the honor and rights of others, making it an antisocial post.
Yeah, they have a very strict, like, what is it called? Like, posting and fan art rule for Musume because they're, like, actual horses and shit.
But does not follow the rules, like guidelines for derivative works of Musume Pretty Derby. So here we get linked to the website of Musume, outlining their terms of service for fan works. In a nutshell, you can create fan art, you can create fan merch, you can do all those things, but they cannot be political, they cannot be sexual, and they sure as hell cannot be gory or disturbing. That's exactly what PETA is doing. And finally, the community note would say, provocative posts intended to attract attention also have an aspect of spam and therefore violate X's terms of service. This also would be echoed by the community note in English, saying Cygames guidelines strictly prohibit violent or grotesque depictions of Musume characters to respect the real horses, using the IP for political advocacy.
They're doing more for the animal rights than the fucking animal rights activists. Let that sink in, man.
Commercial gain is a direct violation of their derivative work guidelines. So seeing this, Twitter was overjoyed, begging Cygames to sue the ever-living shit out of PETA, saying that there's approximately 5 different violations of Musume community guidelines and actual grounds for a hefty lawsuit. I think it was safe to say at this point that no one was siding with PETA. But we're not just talking about the English-speaking audience here. This travesty had reached Japan, and the damage to their image there became catastrophic. A Japanese politician by the name of Kurishita Zenko, who used to be a part of the Japanese Metropolitan Assembly, would catch wind of this, and he would have something to say. It would be in Japanese, so here's the translation. He'd say, PETA, the world's largest animal rights organization, has suddenly made the following post using illustrations from Musume, sparking controversy. It already has a community note attached, stating it violates content guidelines, but we must re-recognize that just because it's a massive international organization doesn't necessarily mean it's fair, in reference to following the rules. He then replied to his own post, continuing, saying, PETA's incoherent accusations against Nintendo are still fresh in our memory. It almost feels like
the nose ring thing. Yeah, I remember this. They're like, oh, it's a virtual cow, but it should still be treated like a cow in real life. Bull rings or whatever, cow rings in the nose, that's bad and animal cruelty.
It almost feels like they're targeting Japanese content. Surely there are other things they should be doing to protect animals. He would continue further, referencing the article about the pet chihuahua we just saw earlier, saying, thank you for the information. I couldn't believe my eyes. Not many people in Japan know what kind of organization PETA is, so we should take this opportunity to spread the word. See how much damage this did? Look, this philosophy of bad publicity is always good publicity? No. Japan was under the impression that PETA actually stood for animal rights. Now they're finding out what kind of organization they truly are. In other words, they fucked around and they found out. But the finding out part wasn't over just yet. That's because out of nowhere, the owner of the late Silent Suzuka would say, in a quote tweet, straight up, go to hell, you shitty organization. This would get 3 million views, 75,000 likes. I mean, straight up full support for this guy. And he's totally right. Someone would reply to the owner's post saying, I remember Suzuka's fracture being a comminuted fracture where the broken bones didn't protrude out. Not an open fracture like in that organization's picture where the bone is visible from the outside. But was I wrong? The owner would say, that's right.
So they even made it more grotesque to get a point across, so it's even like Slander. Yeah, that didn't actually happen.
In other words, PETA was straight up lying. That's not how the fracture looked. Yeah. Am I surprised? No.
I didn't know that.
Someone else would reply with, is this the group that was saying about Mario Kart's cow putting a nose ring on it as a symbol of livestock? This was in reference to what the politician had said earlier, that they had tried to go after Nintendo for this Mario Kart character. Like, how ridiculous is this? So the marketing campaign said, let cow race free, remove her nose ring.
It's a cruel tool used to control and hurt cows in the meat and dairy industry, which causes lasting pain and discomfort. Wait, don't humans get septum piercings? Is it the same or no? I don't know how it works. Like, I've seen cows with nose rings, but like, is it for like leading or something?
Like, surely there must be more important things to do. A few days later, the owner of the late silent Suzuka would quote tweet the tweet we just saw where he called PETA a shitty organization and say, the resentful voices from all over the world against that shit organization group are intense. Seriously, what the hell did they do to get hated this much? Lol. Well, the Japanese people are slowly finding out, aren't they? Good. In fact, my favorite tweet in all this, okay, was this guy going back to that dog AI-generated image of a fish being turned into sushi, quote tweeting it and saying, it's honestly hilarious how the obese fast food nation that's all about burgers is nitpicking Japanese sushi.
Yeah, not the mass-produced burgers from fucking meat factories criticizing people eating sustainable fish.
PETA wasn't just ruining their reputation worldwide. They were also ruining the American reputation worldwide.
They do. PETA was founded in America, wasn't it?
Not that it was very good to begin with, but still, it's not like they need more negative shit. Overall, this whole thing was an absolute mess, and it only served to make it known that PETA is terrible. Now everyone is starting to get aware of this. This was one of the worst decisions the social media team of PETA could have taken. And now people are simply begging Cygames to sue the ever-living shit out of them. I usually try to stay neutral in my videos, but dude, even I'm hoping that happens, okay? I truly want to see that. That would be so cool. Anyway, thank you so much for watching until the end. If you're interested in the entire history of Musume Pretty Derby and how it came to be, as well as how it helped to revitalize the entire horse racing industry, then make sure to check out the video I made about it a few months ago called The Chaotic History of the Horse Game That Took Over the World. And if you want to get a healthy alternative to an energy drink for this Christmas, then make sure to hit the Gamer Subs and use the code MUJIN for 10% off your total order. It helps me directly, and I'm sure you'll enjoy the product. Thank you so much again for watching the video, Platon.
All right, yeah, you do it. No, ban this guy. We're never watching him again.
Until the end, and I'll see you in the next one, whenever that is. I love you so much. Mwah.
Reported. And he's French, too. That's 2 strikes. We believe that all animals should be free. We give them this freedom by murdering them. Yep, that's the logic there. Very sound logic, too. Totally not fucking stupid. Good check out Musume. Good video. I had no idea that they actually did this Musume. Like, I knew about the sushi fish thing. I saw it on my page, but that's even funnier. Oh my gosh. Anyway, long story short, I fucking hate PETA. More like FETA. Actually, no, that's an insult to feet, because feet have a use. PETA's worthless. They just call animals. Horrible. Disgusting human beings. Kidnapping a little kid's fucking... I've heard horrible stories of them, like, actually unironically kidnapping, like, mass kidnapping pets, and then just killing them. Yeah, even though they're, like, someone's animal. Doing it on purpose. I don't know how substantiated that is, but I heard about it. You mean shitta? Oh, that's a good one. Okay, we're calling it shitta from now on.